The plasma apocalypse. That's what we talk about here on Thursdays on my channel. Welcome to everybody, especially those who just joined. Will DeCoster and it's Pinecone. So let's welcome them real quick with some good vibe emojis because, oh boy, we're going to need it. Believe me, we're going to need those good vibes because we're going to talk about what happens if we don't have good vibes during plasma apocalypse as well. All right, so let's see. Welcome at Will. 1 second. Will DeCoster. Welcome in. Okay, cool. So normally I'll go over every single element of the plasma apocalypse. I'm not doing that today. What I'm doing is I'm working on a short, hopefully under 5-minute video that gets right to the highlights in like 5 minutes or less. That basically just describes what happens during the plasma apocalypse. Just taking one quick second on my end, just to make it easier on my computer. There we go. That's good. Okay, cool. Great. All right, sweets. So today we're talking about the plasma possessed. We're also talking about the deadlights. What are the deadlights, right? We've seen the movie It. We've read Stephen King's books. We have seen a lot of references to don't look into the light. We're going to talk about that as well. And I'm going to be responding to everyone's questions or comments as much as I can here. Okay, finished getting things set up here on my side, I think. Let me just double check. All right, plasma possession, face huggers, worldwide amnesia. We're going to get into the amnesia portion of it a little towards the end. We're going to be talking about aliens wanting your brains. Have you seen that Hulu commercial, right? Remember those old Hulu commercials with Alec Baldwin, right? It's so weird. Everything's different on my computer right now. I'm trying to make it so that I'm looking at the camera instead of looking off to the side. Anyway, Alec Baldwin was doing these Hulu commercials. Very blatant Hulu commercials that said, you know, we're aliens and we're trying to, we want your brain. We're trying to make it nice and mushy by all this TV, etc. I'm going to tell you right now with all dead seriousness, that's not a joke. It's not a joke. I know we like to laugh at this stuff because it's so ridiculous and it's so out there. I'm telling you right now with all seriousness, it's not a joke. It's absolutely real. And, man, it's something I kind of talk about from time to time, right? I talk about this type of stuff from time to time. Today, we're really going to be talking about it, okay? That commercial with Alec Baldwin says they're trying to prepare your brains, basically, get them nice and mushy. Now, the way they describe these things, the way they present these things, is disclosure, period. It's all disclosure. They're telling you exactly the reality of your world through these ridiculous commercials, through fantasy, comic books, television, anything but what's on the 7 o'clock news telling you, what to expect, right? That's why I don't watch the news anymore. I find way more information in the fantastic and fairy tales and ancient myths and legends and things of that nature. Ted Aussie says, JayDreamerZ, the highest currency is souls. No wonder Fanazoids want them so much. Oh, we're going to talk about some Fanazoids today. And we're going to talk about, we're definitely going to talk about the plasma possession. Let me give you a good example. Oh, also we're going to talk about dream crabs. I'll reference the movie Memento, The Forgotten, things like that. We're going to talk about dream crabs, face huggers, and things like that. But first, before we do, I want to really get into the plasma possession portion of this, okay? Let me give you an idea. Remember, everyone has seen Star Wars, for the most part, right? We've all seen Star Wars, okay? So, I mean, even if you haven't, you know who Darth Vader is, right? Okay, anyways, that's Darth Vader. Before Darth Vader was the bad guy in all black, seeking to kill everyone and take over the galaxy as a type of world eater, which is very real, by the way. There is a world eater, okay? There is a world eater out there, and I talk about it all the time. It's plasma, basically. Before he was Darth Vader, he was Anakin Skywalker. Okay, he was this kid that had all this potential. Man, he had so much energy inside of him, and that's the main thing that defines Anakin Skywalker, was that he had this potential to either be the destroyer or the savior, right? I mean, in essence, right? He was going to be a mighty leader or a mighty destroyer, basically. The thing that got to him right? The thing that really got to him and solidified his transition into becoming Darth Vader was his vibration. It was his vibratory state. It was his, he stopped having good vibes, man. The world screwed him up. The world really screwed him up, right? The people, the other people, the things, all the stuff that happened, and his emotions were building, and he wanted justice. He wanted something to be done about all this stuff that's happening in the world. And it was building in him, and he was just getting so upset about it. He was tired of all the talk from all of the Jedi and all these council members and all the politics involved. He was tired of it, man. He wanted to see something done. Which, by the way, as you can tell, I get very into my feelings about that because I can absolutely relate to Anakin Skywalker, which freaks me out a little bit sometimes. I'm just going to be honest. But he became plasma possessed. What do I mean by that? The plasma comes down into our world, apart from just going around and carving out canyons, the larger portions of the plasma, raising up mountains, and all the things that the plasma does to terraform our world. Our world is permeated with electromagnetics in the form of plasma. Right now, it's all over the place, but it's in a weak state. Right now, it is in a weak and diluted state. When the sky opens up, the plasma comes in and basically fills this world back up with what I like to call magic. Or you can call it electromagnetics. You can look at it scientifically up and down all you want to. I just want to say, hey, magic's real. Magic is very real. And the world will be filled with magic, which is in the form of the plasma. I'm just messing with this stuff on the computer here. Anyway, Anakin Skywalker is a great representation of that. When he goes into his transformation, his eyes start to turn bloodshot red. Not just because physically he's just so mad his capillaries burst or whatever. No, his eyes filled up red because of the plasma. Usually depicted as a pinkish, reddish, orangish, purpley, sort of a typically red color. Okay? And that's why you have so many people that are depicted in the movies as having these glowing red eyes, especially when they get really pissed off. When they get mad, the eyes glow. Why? Because that's the plasma coming down. Now, before I continue on, does not mean that everyone with the plasma possession or everyone that has an influx of plasma defaults to being evil. No, I'm just going to say right off the bat, what it does is it amplifies whatever's already there. Okay? So before Anakin became Darth Vader, those feelings were already there. But that would be like us today living in a world that's very empty, right? Not empty, but diluted from the plasma, right? It's going to be filled up. Let me give you another example. So here's what happens, okay? Those of us out there who have a bad vibe, whatever that vibe may be, man, it could be jaded, it could be scornful, it could be hateful, it could be envious, basically all of the 7 deadly sins. It's going to amplify that feeling. It's going to amplify those emotions in many people to such an extreme degree that it will be near impossible for them to come back from it. Near impossible. Okay, keep that in mind, please. There's always hope. All right, let me give you another example. The Doors. You know the Doors, right? The group with the strange name about, like, doors. Why'd they name them that, right? I know why they named them that. Do you know why they named them that? Well, I've said it before. Anyhow, the Doors and their esoteric songs, one of those songs are called Riders on a Storm. Oh, hey, Mother Dragon's in the chat. Mother Dragon says, JayDreamerZ, we can all relate to Anakin. Thank you for saying that. Gosh, it feels so good to hear that. Thank you. What decides where we end up after seeing through the nonsense is how we deal with all of it. Allow the rage to consume us like him, or take it all in stride. I couldn't agree with you more. I absolutely could not agree with you more. And that's something I mean, those of you who have been following my life basically for the last 3 or 4 years, you've seen many changes in me, and I have been struggling with this particular concept, and it's something I know I need to face. I have to face it, man. I really do, because otherwise It's not going to be good. It's really not going to be good during the plasma apocalypse. And we'll talk about why. Semyaza says, JayDreamerZ, the colors of their lightsabers, blue or red, represented their energy force. Yeah, quite often, right? Absolutely. Yoda's color is my favorite one. All right, so let me get back into this. Riders on a Storm. Now, I pretty much have the song memorized because it hits me right here and it hits me right here. I know what the song's about. I really do. So let me give you some of the lyrics, okay? Specifically the ones that, well, I'll just start at the beginning, okay? It says, riders on a storm, riders on a storm. Into this house we're born, right? Into this house. This house, anytime they talk about a house, okay? It's almost always symbolic of our world that we live in. We have a roof over our head, all that. This is the house, our world. This is our house right here, our local house right here. Into this house we're born, into this world we're thrown. That's how you know. They turned right around and told you, this house is this world, okay? They explained it to you. Sometimes they're so black and white, pun intended, okay? Sometimes they're so direct that there's no need to figure it out. They know that people out there have been conditioned to go, what does that mean to you? You know, when they're being completely direct and transparent in their lyrics. Let's continue on, right? Let's see. Riders on a storm. Into this house we're born. Into this world we're thrown. Right? Into this world they're thrown. Right? First of all, riders on a storm. What storm? It's the worldwide storm that happens during the plasma apocalypse. And I'm dead serious about this whole stuff. Okay? So if you're watching my channel and you're like, oh, you know, it's entertaining or whatever, great. Be entertained all you want to, but I'm being dead serious. Just like I'm saying, all these artists, all these music videos, they're dead serious. They are sharing the truth. They are disclosing it all to us. And they're taking our reality and wrapping it up and handing it right back to us in the form of amusement, which means to not think. That's what that means. Into this house we're born into, they're riders on the storm. The plasma is the riders on the storm, right? Or even anyone that's going through the vortex that opens up, that leads to other worlds, they can also be riders on a storm. All right. Into this world we're thrown like a dog without a bone or an actor out alone. They're actors, okay? The plasma comes in, it puts on a costume called a body, it incorporates itself, it becomes corporal, and it becomes an actor. It plays a part. It goes into a shape. It goes into a form. And just like I just saw It Chapter 2. I may reference it. I'm not going to spoil it or anything, but I'm going to reference it, okay? And I am going to break both movies down one of these days once part 2 actually comes out. One of the things they say in part 2 is that life must obey the rules of the shape it takes. Life must obey the laws of the shape it abides in, or something to that effect, okay? That's talking about the plasma becoming corporal. It must obey the laws of the shape it takes. So, let me remember the most important part of this particular song called Riders on a Storm, right? There's a killer on the road. Let's stop. There is a killer on the road. This is not symbolic. He's talking about there is really an actual murderer killer on the road, okay? Now it is possibly like a story that he made up, but the story represents the truth of the matter, which is what happens during this plasma apocalypse. This is one aspect, by the way. There's so many different aspects. We're just talking about plasma possession right now. There's a killer on the road. His brain is squirming like a toad. His brain is squirming like a toad. Why would they say that? Well, it has everything to do with the dream crabs, the face huggers, those small strands of plasma that want to attach to the head, attach to the face, enter in through the eyeballs, and reboot your brain and take you over as a thrall. A thrall is like a servant, basically. So there's a killer on the road. His brain is squirming like a toad. Take a long holiday, which is funny because he actually says, take a long holiday. It's weird. Like the way he emphasizes those words, it's not natural, which means that it was written and then they made the song for it. They had to force the melody into what was written. Okay. Which is actually pretty important. Take a long holiday. He's saying, take a holiday. Okay. And then he says, let your children play. He's talking about playing. and taking a holiday, which implies good vibes and get away, basically. He's talking about having good vibes, okay? Take a long holiday and let your children play. If you give this man a ride, sweet memory will die. This is the actual lyrics of the song. It couldn't be more transparent. It couldn't be more blunt and direct. If you give the plasma possessed a ride, if you're around the plasma possessed who have their negative energy or the dark side amplified, guess what they're going to do? They are programmed, they are controlled, they are a thrall, a slave to the objective of the plasma. And the plasma's objective, while it comes down, while it's connected to its source and the sky is open, it's coming down to clean house, which means to destroy to destroy people, basically. Okay. So yeah, it's going to turn a lot of people with bad vibes into murderers, basically. Rue, hey, she said, thank you all, Good Vibe Tribe and Jay, for your kindness and love. There you go. You see? Rue, you have more of a chance than you thought you did. I promise you that. Jeez. Trust me. Rue's a very good person. So yeah, Riders on a Storm. Anakin's a good example of this. Jason Voorhees from Friday the 13th. He is plasma possessed. Period. Okay? Not just plasma possessed, but during the plasma apocalypse, I believe, according to my research, it will be near impossible for people to die. You can get mangled. All kinds of things can happen to you as long as the brain doesn't get destroyed. People will find it very difficult to actually die from things that would normally kill them. And it's because plasma is going to create an influx of life as well. It's a sweet and interesting, beautiful contradiction. But yeah, Jason Voorhees, he's out there. He's trying to kill all of the sinful counselors and things of that nature. He's attracted to those people that have bad vibrations. He can recognize them because he had bad vibrations. All right. Now, let me share some of these pictures with you guys. And I can't see the chat right now, but I am trying to keep my eyes on it just in case. But in order to get my attention, please type in @JayDreamerZ. Like Sem Miyaza did. He said people still don't see what is being presented to them in movies. They don't. And most of them will not. They won't. They're hypnotized. There's a spell, a real, actual, magical spell that has been cast over us. Okay? A veil, if you will. And I will be talking about the veil when I get to Doctor Who. Excuse me. Let's see here. It said they're so occupied by day to day, they don't connect to the same symbolisms in them. That's a great comment. Thank you so much. Let's move forward here. I've talked about this guy before. This is the DC universe. You know, Superman, The Flash, Batman. Anthony just donated. Thanks a lot, man. I appreciate it. That's, what is that movie? I forgot what that movie's called. Anyway, this is the end, I think. Thank you, Anthony. I really appreciate it, man. So check this out. This is Starro from the DC universe. He is a world eater. There is a such thing as world eaters. It sounds ridiculous. It sounds like it has to be fiction. It sounds like it has to be made up. It sounds like it can't possibly be true. They don't want to believe it's true. Did I change the scrolling thing? I did not. Oh man, let's get rid of that then. Bye, scrolling thing. All right, anyways. Sorry about that. I'm probably going to take the scrolling thing off because I constantly forget to update it. All right, so it's gone now. Anyway, this is Starro. Here's what happens. Superman, Wonder Woman, The Flash, Batman, Aquaman, everybody in the DC universe occasionally have to get together, sometimes even banding with the bad guys, the supervillains, in order to get rid of Starro. Okay, not all the time. Okay, usually the supervillains are actually looking forward to Starro. But he is a world eater. Usually the world eaters have tentacles. They will always be represented with tentacles, electricity, one eyeball, things of that nature. Now, as you can see here in this picture, let's make that a little bigger. See their faces? What happens is little pieces of the whole, little pieces of Starro right here, break off. They're little minions that look just like him, and they go around down on the ground level looking for the heads of everybody. I mean, typically it takes place in New York City, but that just represents the whole world. And they attach themselves right to the face, directly to the face of superheroes and everyone. And basically they put them into a dreamlike trance and control their minds. They become the thralls. That's why you see this, just like this. Rue says a destroyer of worlds. Fantastic for the Silver Surfer. Absolutely. This is why this is brought up. Good one, Rue. That's a really good one. Oh, no way. Mother Dragon says Starro is also the name of the Daleks' home planet. Really? Get out of here. I didn't even know that. That's awesome. I mean, wow. Anyway, thank you. Starro is also the name of the Daleks' home planet. What's a Dalek? Okay, so for those of you who don't watch Doctor Who, okay, yes, it's a TV show. Here's my deal. Watch like 2 episodes. That's it. Start at the very first one, okay? Whatever, either the old ones or the new ones. But if I was you, this is what I did. I started on the new ones. Start on the new ones. Watch like 2 episodes. If you don't like it, fine. Totally fine. But believe me, there's so much esoteric truth in that show. I love it. But yeah, Dalek is basically a one-eyed brain with tentacles. Okay. All right. Let's skip this one. All right. Face huggers. So all of this stuff you're seeing right now, okay, is a combination of different types of symbolism. The face huggers most likely are not actual physical crab-looking things like you see here, although I wouldn't discount it, because this is also symbolic of the phantazoids, okay, which tend to open up from their face, and that's how they eat, okay? Just like microbacteria or whatever, things on the microscopic scale. That's because up there, they're not microscopic, they are macroscopic. Anyhow, the plasma comes in and it gets smaller as it comes down into our world. And in between the largest legs of plasma or tentacles of plasma, there are smaller forms of plasma. Because remember this, our world will be inundated with plasma. Our world will be inundated. I mean, it's everywhere right now, but it's diluted. When the sky opens up, all of that plasma will fill up our world to the brim, okay? It's going to be everywhere, all over the place. So you're going to see plasma in all of its forms. It's going to be lightning. It's going to be ball lightning. Attack of the Killer Tomatoes, that's about ball lightning plasma. Going around trying to find, whatever. Same thing as Jason Voorhees and everything else. Plasma is going to be everywhere, okay? So here's what happens. Some of those smaller strands of plasma, they go around and they are attracted to, first of all, they can read your aura, okay? They can read your electromagnetic field. They can see it. They live in between worlds. They live between the spirit world and the corporal physical world. They can read your aura. You pop up like a color on the radar, okay? And super dead serious about this. So anyways, yes. So what they do is they like to go around and they want to dock with your brain. That's what they want to do. This is a data collection harvest. That's what this is all about, okay? It's all about scraping up those experiences and then resetting it all and learning some new experiences. That's what it's all about. So it's called Know Thyself on the greatest, grandest scale of everything, okay? So the plasma comes in. It's usually represented kind of like this in the movies, it'd be like some sort of one-eyed thing that has a big red eye, or maybe it'll shoot a laser out, and it wants to attach itself to your head. Why? Because your brain is in your head, and the bad guys want your brain, okay? They don't care about your physical brain itself. No, they don't want to eat your brain physically. I mean, that could be a possibility, but what they want is what's valuable in your brain, which is your memories. They want your information. They want to upload your experience. So, this picture right here is actually from The Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., a TV show. This is from season 7. This guy, he's like, what do you want? And the other guy's like, your face. And he puts this big one-eyed star-looking thing, and it starts to suck off his face, basically. Starts to suck his face right off of his head. And this is just symbolic. You have to learn to see these things. And once you learn the basics, you're going to see it everywhere, all over the place. And what it does is it typically enjoys, and it's easiest, to enter in through your eyeballs, okay? The eyeballs are the window to the soul. Your pineal gland, your energy, your aura, if anything wants to get into you, the eyes are probably going to be one of the easiest ways, believe it or not. Anyway. So yeah, that's symbolic right there. Let's check out some more symbolism, okay? Right here, this used to be one of my favorite movies ever. It's pretty classic, okay? This is, I think, what is it, Batman Returns? I can't remember which one it's called. It's one of the Batman movies. And it's got the Riddler and everything in it. It's got Two-Face. The Riddler makes this contraption called the box. Hold on. Looks like I missed a comment. Rue, I am Groot, says JayDreamerZ, plasma everywhere. Like all the Alien movies show smaller ships or beings. Yes, absolutely. So here's what happens. The Riddler creates this box that you see put on top of people's televisions, right? I think I might. No, I don't have another one. We'll talk about that guy in a minute. He creates this box, and what he does is he has this little controller, and he sticks it to his head, and he sucks out the memories and the experiences and the knowledge of the people who are watching the box. Guess what the box is? Right? Well, I mean, the box is different things, but on the movie, the box is the television, which is programming people, which is just like Alec Baldwin said in the commercials, we're Hulu and we're aliens. And we want to eat your brains. Like with a tone of voice that implies, I hope you take this as a joke, because this is really our goal. If you take this as a joke, we win, because that's exactly what I just told you I wanted to do. Sean Wheeler just said, Raiders of the Lost Ark, don't look no matter what. Man, that's a good one too. I couldn't agree more. Raiders of the Lost Ark, right? They open up the ark, which is an arc, which is an arch. When the arch is opened up, right? All the spirits start going everywhere. Indiana Jones, aka Harrison Ford, who I might actually talk about in a little while, says, don't look at it, right? And guess what? They survive. All the Nazis and bad guys, and they all, the plasma spirits, the ectoplasm goes in and it possesses and kills all those people. But not Indiana Jones, and not that girl he was with. I totally don't remember her name, but she was popular in the 70s and 80s. Ted Ozzy said there was a cartoon called Grim Adventures with Billy and Mandy. There was an episode dedicated to a one-eyed tentacle, that drained brains and made a zombie army with a song and everything. I didn't even know that, but guess what? I'm not even surprised at all. It's the same story told over and over and over and over. It might seem like there are billions of little pieces to the bigger picture, but I don't know if there are, man. I really don't know if there are, because when you find those crucial ones, once you find those corner support pieces, it becomes so much easier to fill the rest of it in. So yeah, anyway, here's the Riddler. They're sucking out people's brains, and he even has a song about it. I'm sucking out your brain, or whatever. Now let's look at Stranger Things. This guy right here, his name is Billy, which is just a play on words for bully, basically. Okay? This guy was a jerk. All right? He's a bully. I don't like him. Okay? I do not like this dude in Stranger Things. Let me make this bigger. How do I make it bigger? Oh, hold on one second. Give me one quick second. We're going to make all this bigger. If I can figure out, let's see, webcam, background, here we go. Screen share? There it is. Unlock, booyah. Okay, let's make this bigger so we can all appreciate it. Man, I'm hyped up about this particular episode. I really am. Because I take it personally, man. I have felt plasma possessed in my life. I don't like it. I do not like it at all. And that means big flag waving for Jay, like, bro, you need to look into yourself. You need to fix yourself. You have to overcome this with peace, neutrality, love, selflessness, etc. This is a personal thing for me. And it might be for you guys as well. So anyways, this guy was a bully in Stranger Things, okay? He was a jerk before he met the Mind Flayer. Mind Flayer. The thing that flays your mind, right? Gee whiz, like, that's exactly what happened. I think I might have a picture. So anyways, he was a jerk beforehand, right? Remember I said this plasma is going to amplify whatever your energy is, okay? So if your energy is a jerk, like this guy was, guess what happens after the plasma possesses you? Guess what happens after the Mind Flayer or Demogorgon or whatever you want to call it, right, attaches itself to your face, right? Let's look at the movie It. I forgot this dude's name. What was his name? If you remember in the chat, let me know. I forgot this guy's name. But basically, he's this bully. In the movie It. He was made a bully, which also upsets me, by his loser dad who treated him wrong, right? So he grew up learning that this is the way you're supposed to live. This is the way you get attention. This is the way people respect you. This is the way you make friends, etc., right? Ultimately, that's too bad. I feel sorry for this kid. And who knows? His dad probably suffered from the same cycle. We have to break this cycle. It's not easy. I mean, it's easier for me to say that than when it comes down to the practice of it. But God, we have to break this cycle. So this kid was a bully beforehand. His energy was off. His energy was bad before meeting Pennywise, right? This is him later on in the new movie. I forgot his name. What the heck is this dude's name? London's in the chat, and she says, Jupiter ascending. Harvesting humans for the fountain of youth, for the men of renown to wind back the hinds of time physically. Yeah, that's a good one right there. And also related to that is like sucking out the essence, which is seen in so many different movies like The Dark Crystal lately. People have seen that, right? All right, so this guy is the same bully as this kid right here. 27 years later, there's a very specific reason why they chose 27 years. I'll give you a hint. What's 27 divisible by, right? Well, it's divisible by everything, I guess, right? It has to do with the 9, okay? And the law of 9s. Anyway, so this guy grows up, and in the movie, he ends up like basically being in a mental institution, and he sees the red balloon from Pennywise. He gets his knife back. He's a killer on the road. His brain is squirming like a toad, and he is out to erase your memories. Your sweet memories will die. This guy wants to do it, okay? He is a plasma thrall. He's a thrall of the World Eater, which, by the way, Pennywise actually calls himself in part 2. Like a billion times, he calls himself the World Eater. J-Star says he thinks his name was Henry. I think you could be right. I think it started with H. I don't remember right now. So anyhow, this guy is a plasma thrall. This is what happens to those bullies and bad energy people when if they survive getting sucked up into the sky and all that stuff, they're down here on ground level. Watch out, okay? Watch out for them. Be very wary, just like in Bird Box, right? Remember this scene? Bird Box, they purposefully put that, they purposefully wore the blindfold over their eyes because they did not want to look at whatever was out there. It's bad news if you look at it. Don't look at the deadlights. This dude looked at them, and look what he did. He became a plasma thrall, working for the greater cleanup crew, basically, right? And he went over and he said, no, you're looking too, man. Like, come check this out. And he started doing the work of that entity, whatever you want to call the entity. Yeah, you could just call it plasma if you want to. However, it has been personified for good purpose and for good reason as various things, many other things, gods, deities, angels, demons, all that stuff. The plasma has been personified as many of those things as well. But he is a slave to the energy, okay? And so he goes around trying to get everyone else to look at it, right? Why? Why is he opening their eyes, right? Obviously, because whatever it is, has something to do with looking at it. I think we know what it is, right? Don't look at the deadlights. Don't look into the light. Don't go into the light, okay? This is from Brightburn. Oh, I got to make that bigger. Hold on. There we go. This is from Brightburn. I don't know if you've seen the movie Brightburn. It's basically the movie that came out a few months back about the little boy Superman. This is like an alternative version where the little kid Superman wanted to be evil. So it's little kid, evil Superman in small town USA instead of, corn-fed, do-gooder kid Superman or whatever, right? One moment. Excuse me. Mouth's getting a little parched. Okay, so here's what happens in Brightburn. This kid, he's got some inner issues, all right? He has some inner issues, and he starts hearing the calling of the plasma. Let me tell you something. People now are hearing the calling of the plasma, okay? Because that plasma is knocking up there against the glass. That plasma is banging up there against the ice. It wants in bad. It's going to get in. And the plasma down here, including the plasma inside of us, hears that call. Okay, so you're going to see a lot of people going nuts and haywire, a lot of probably murders and killings and senseless killings and all this type of stuff, right? I mean, we've already seen that. It's just going to get worse and worse until the time comes, okay? And this kid hears the calling, basically. So what happens? What is it that activates him into being this super little killer person, right? This is his spaceship, okay? Sorry about the little whatever there, but this is his spaceship. His spaceship, okay, is talking to him. This is what it looks like. It's got plasma tentacles coming down, red lights everywhere, a little circle there. That's the hole in the sky. That's the eye in the sky. That's the evil eye. As a matter of fact, there's even a scene in that movie where he stabs some lady like in the eye. She's walking around covering her eye, right? That's Hollywood's way of telling you this is in reference to the plasma apocalypse, when the hole, aka the eye, opens up in the sky and causes all sorts of chaos. Okay. So yeah, the kid looks into the spaceship. It's been calling him, and he's just full on is plasma possessed. Now, you see stuff like this, the lasers shooting out of the eye. Are they? Are the lasers shooting out of the eye, or is this something we can flip around and that's plasma going into the eyes? Okay, I'm not discounting the possibility of people with laser eyes or light coming out of their eyes. Okay, but this could also very well be the reverse of that, right? The plasma goes into the body, into the mind, into the eyes, takes control of the electronics because it is electromagnetic. It's looking for electromagnetics, just like all of its various forms. The gremlins going around screwing with electromagnetics or anything that's electrical or mechanical in nature, right? Cars turning on, all the electronics turning on, just like we talked about. Dang, there was one more I was going to say. I forgot. All right, anyways. The Phoenix, this is her. She's plasma possessed. That's why it's very difficult for her to control this particular influx and possession of plasma. Remember, I said it's near impossible to overcome this. Okay? That's why we need right now, if you're concerned or if this interests you at all, okay, my highest advice to you, main priority in my life, we've got to fix inside. You have to raise your heart frequency a lot so that your aura changes a different color, okay? Anyway, so this is the whole story of the Phoenix. She's been trying to fight this for a very long time. I actually haven't seen this movie yet, but I do know the story of the Phoenix because I'm an X-Men fan. All right, let's go to the next picture here. Wow, okay, well, here's Pennywise, right? So Pennywise, like, there's various symbolism happening in here, okay? Right? There's a lot of symbols all mixed up and jumbled up together. First of all, he's a phantazoid, okay? He's a phantazoid first and foremost. I know so because one of his main forms is this like six-legged insect-looking creature, which often that's how the phantazoids are depicted, okay? Also, while I just thought of this, I want to throw this out there. Hellhounds. Hellhounds are real, okay? They are they're a type of phantazoid, okay? They're not dogs, but they sort of remind us of dogs, okay? But they're a type of phantazoid that comes down and runs around and tries to get people or whatever, okay? I don't know why that popped in my head because I've been wanting to say it in one of my live streams. I just keep forgetting. Yes, he's a clown. Yes, that represents the killer clowns from outer space. That represents the phantazoids out there that have that white color to them, that shimmering white color. They have the shine, etc. That's where Stephen King has the shine. So anyhow, this guy opens up his mouth. Inside are the dead lights. Okay, this is symbolic of the sky opening up, the dead lights up there. Okay, and what happens when you look into the dead lights? Well, bad stuff happens when you look into the dead lights. Unless you happen to survive, unless you happen to be strong enough or you overcome or somebody else shakes you out of it, right, and helps you out, then possibly you actually have a connection with the deadlights, which means you have a possible strength or gained power, okay? So these are the deadlights when he opens up his mouth. This is actually... Yes, this is when he opens his mouth. He does have the deadlights in him, but this is also, as you'll see in part 2, this is a grander thing that we're looking at, okay? You're basically looking up into the sky at the deadlights coming down at you, okay? At the plasma coming down at you. Now, this one's symbolic. It's got 3 lights. Now, I don't know. I've kind of guessed at what the 3 lights could possibly be. One of my guesses is it's the sun, the moon, and the circular shadow that's cast by the prior hole that's up there in one of the domes in the sky. But anyway, that's just speculation. I'm not 100% confident on that. But anyway, that's the deadlights, okay? You look into the deadlights, you're gone. You're going to float. That's the other thing, too. Floating, getting sucked up into the sky, is often typically associated with staring at these lights that tend to possess people and take them over and tell them where to go and what to do, right? This is just one example of that. Now, here's Doctor Who. God, I love Doctor Who. This is an episode where he goes to the North Pole. He actually gets the help of Santa Claus. It's very fantastic and it's storytelling, right? I don't know how many people liked this one, but I loved it, okay? He's holding a jar that has a dream crab inside of it. The dream crabs look like this, basically. Okay, they're claws. The plasma is usually, that's how it's drawn, okay? A hand is a perfect representation of plasma. That's how we get our hands, okay? We follow suit. It's a fractal verse, remember, okay? The plasma is life, and what it does is it can spread out. It can split itself into many other strands. That's why your hands look the way they do. That's why your toes look the way they do. That's why our body looks the way it does, okay? So it's often personified, or not personified, but it's often depicted or symbolized by like a claw or a hand or a glove or, you know, tentacles or something that has like a main source and branches out from there. All right. So Doctor Who is basically, they try to attach themselves to people's head. They wrap around people's head, put them in this dreamlike state while they slowly kill them and take control of them, basically. Okay. And I believe this is what one of the dream crabs looks like once it's attached to somebody in that particular episode of Doctor Who. This is also from the Batman that I showed you guys, right? This is that box, and it's sucking out her memories while she's just watching Hulu or whatever, right? That's exactly what's happening. They are going to harvest your mind, basically. That's why he's called the Mind Flayer. This is very real, okay? And all the bad guys wanting your brain for some reason, this is why. It's a very real thing. It's going to come down. No, it might not suck out your physical brain. No, it might not want to take a bite out of your cerebral cortex or something, but it wants the information, okay? It wants the experience, okay? Why does it want the experience? Why does it want the information? I'm going to leave that one up to you to try to figure out for a little while. This is the movie Alien, like Rue was talking about earlier, right? These are called the face huggers. This is their whole entire deal, is to wrap around your face. They paint them this sort of albino color because that's the color of phantazoids. That's the color that phantazoids typically are. White, in essence. Pearlescent, to be specific. Pearlescent, opalescent, shiny, shimmery, white color with many other little, shimmerings of other colors mixed in there. Which is why all of the... That's why all of the mystical animals and many mythical animals, or mythic, I should say, mythic animals, are painted as white. A unicorn, a white unicorn. It's always a white unicorn. A white buffalo. Right? A white horse. It's always this white color. That's what that represents. Now, let's look at this guy. This is Uncle Fester. He's in the Addams Family. You might remember him. He's the family member that can put a light bulb in his mouth and it turns on. Okay? It's not a joke. It is literal. It is very real. Right? The plasma, the electromagnetics will be full in our world, allowing us to have certain abilities because we are full of electromagnetics. Sean Wheeler says, JayDreamerZ, Deadlights and Vampire's Gaze. That's a good one. I like that one. Vampire's Gaze, too. Festus. Anyways, this is Uncle Fester right here. Now, let me tell you what happens in this particular movie, okay? They're looking for Uncle Fester. They don't know where he went. He just dropped off the face of the earth. What had happened is that Uncle Fester went out there, got electrocuted in this storm, and got amnesia. He went by the name Gordon, and some lady came in and tricked him into telling him he was somebody else. He took on an entirely different identity. This is going to happen. I believe this is going to happen, I should say. That's my belief, or maybe not belief, okay? It is my very strong idea at this particular moment in time that this is going to happen, okay? I am subject to growth and changing my mind, etc. But the closer I get, the closer the times come, the more I'm like, man, oh man. Like, I asked Jenny the other day, I'm like, where is this coming from? Why am I being bombarded with all of this information? Like, why is it just popping into my head all over the place, you know? I used to be able to just watch movies. I can't. I really can't anymore. I see I see reality in the movies. And I'm like, I know what that is. I know what that is. I know what that is. I'm not afraid. They don't scare me, right? They just don't, because I see reality. I see the truth behind it. I see the truth of the matter. Anyways, Uncle Fester, okay? Also a killer clown from outer space. And if you saw my breakdown of the Dark City movie, remember how all those aliens in Dark City, they were all dressed and looked just like Uncle Fester? There's a good reason for that. Anyway, Uncle Fester was zapped, boom, in his head, got amnesia, forgot who he was, didn't know who he was, and he has the ability, he has some sort of electromagnetic power where he can at the very least perform some sort of parlor trick and put a light bulb in his mouth and turn it on. That should tell us something, okay? Because he's full of electromagnetic power. He is plasma possessed, okay? It's not always a bad thing, okay? I'm just saying. I just want to throw that out there. But we are being warned of it ahead of time, about the bad side of it. There you go. See, look at that. He grabs it from Pugsley, sticks it in his mouth, the light bulb turns on. It's not because he's just a weirdo. Stop. It's because he has electromagnetics permeating his body, okay? He is an electrical being. This is telling us something. Facehuggers, okay? Facehuggers in the form of a bowl of shrimp. Why shrimp? Because a lot of the animals in our ocean most likely are survivors and descendants from those phantazoids that were able to find refuge in the oceans where man doesn't live and won't go out and kill them. They live in the ocean. The world seals up. Over time, things get smaller and smaller and smaller. Then you have crabs. Then you have shrimp. Then you have lobsters. And then you have the God of the Bible saying, don't eat that crap. I'm just saying. I don't want to eat it anyway. Like, I do not want to eat any type of insect-looking, phantazoid-looking stuff, especially sea cockroaches and stuff like that. It's disgusting to me. Hey, whatever floats your boat, I respect that. You can eat it all day long if you want to. Not me. I'm not doing it. Corey L's in the chat and says, JayDreamerZ, just wondering where the elites believe they will be going to when they blast off through the eye in the sky. I mean, they may end up in a worse place, unless I'm missing something here. Well, it sounds like we are missing something, right? If they're going to leave here, and let's just say that they have had many, many, many long years to think all of this through and to plan it all out, I would assume that they have a good idea of where they're going. I don't know. I'm just assuming, right? But I mean, it seems logical to make the assumption that if they're going to risk something like that, right? The sky just opens up, plasma's all over the place, monsters are raining down everywhere, and they're going to shoot themselves into it. I'll bet you they have a really good idea of where they're going, right? Either that or whatever is going to come in, just like how they came in, whoever comes in next is that bad, or looking for them, like space cops, basically. Let's see here. Ted Ozzy says, JayDreamerZ, being able to name something diminishes the fear factor it has on you. Hey, that's a good point. Just like King Solomon, right? It turns the chaos of a subject into order because now you can categorize and understand it. Names are magic. I totally agree. Thank you. Rue I Am Groot says, oh wow, JayDreamerZ, amazing connection between the falling plasma creatures and lobsters, etc. Wow. Corey L says, makes sense. All right, let's see. Was that it? Was that all? Oh, of course you've got the flashy thingy, right? The flashy thingy wipes your memory. Now we're segueing into amnesia, because this is a huge part of the plasma. When you look into those deadlights, one of the things that happens, right? Or when the dream crabs, aka the smaller strands of plasma, when they dock with your mind. By the way, this is my theory on tinfoil hats is exactly this. I'm convinced this is where this all started. Okay, people were like, nope, I'm making a Faraday cage around my brain. I'm pretty sure that's where that comes from. Anyway, what happens is it will reboot your brain, or it has the capacity to cause serious amnesia. Okay, it's electrical. And I was doing some studying on electroshock therapy, people that have been hit by lightning, and so on and so forth. Our memories are very fragile, or fragile, however you want to say it. They're very fragile, and they are when these dream crabs or face huggers or whatever you want to call them, when they dock with the face, when they go into the eyes, most likely it's going to reboot the brain. People are not going to remember who they are, where they came from, what's going on. People wake up with complete amnesia in a brand new and different place, right? Which won't matter too much because, probably a lot of them won't remember the old world at all. They just wake up and life is whatever it is all the way around them, right? They just take it for granted because that's the world they were born into. AM1 says, the positive or negative use the plasma seems parallel to the force concept. That's exactly what it is. Make no mistake, that's exactly what it is. It is the electromagnetic force. It is the vibrations, right? Evan Scorpio, hey, what's up, man? New member says, I have an EMF protection hat for that. That's pretty sweet. I like that. So this flashy thingy, see how it's got the red eye, right? And then it flashes in your face. You have to be looking at it. It doesn't work. Flash thingies don't work if your eyes are closed. It's that simple. Your eyes have to be open. The flash has to go into your eyes, and all of a sudden, it just causes amnesia. You don't remember. That's exactly what's happening. This is from Stranger Things. I know it's kind of a dark picture, but you see this arm right here? This is connected to the Demogorgon. Remember how I said sometimes they like to squeeze in multiple symbols or symbolism into like one person or one character? The Demogorgon is that, okay? The Demogorgon, or aka Mind Flayer, whatever you want to call it, right? It's pretty much the same thing. It is represented as both a phantazoid and an infected phantazoid that has the T virus, and a dream crab, because it sticks its hand out, or whatever this is, tentacle basically, and it sticks it to this dude's face, right? I don't know if you guys remember this or if you've seen it, but it sticks to this guy's face, and it makes thralls, servants, slaves. It takes over their minds. This is Starro that I showed you at the very beginning. He does it to this guy, and then he does it to his wife right then and there. He sticks the tentacle out, it attaches to the face or to the head, and it hypnotizes them, turns them into something different. Vanessa V, thank you very much. Wow. Thanks a lot. I got to empty out Groot's head over here. It's starting to overflow. That's good news. That's great. Thank you very much. Zen Ottman, what's up, man? Says, tough live choice. 7 Bomar and JayDreamerZ live streamed same time. Okay, so somebody else is live streaming at the same time. That's pretty awesome. Well, thanks for being over here. That's pretty cool. I'm honored. All right, let's keep going. This is from the movie Minority Report. Okay, this is a good movie. I don't really like Tom Cruise that much. He's also in, what's that religion? Dang it, I forgot. I was just looking at this earlier. Somebody help me out. What's the religion that Tom Cruise is in? And so many other celebrities? AM1 says, have you seen the alien takeover movie Skyline at JayDreamerZ? In that movie, people become seduced by a light and then sucked up into the air. You're on point. I have seen that movie. I haven't seen the sequel yet. But I have seen that movie. Now check this out. Not only do they get sucked up into the air, but remember what happens when they get sucked up into the air and they go onto that spaceship? What are all those aliens doing with all of the bodies they sucked up? They're trying to get their brains, remember? Oh, Scientology. Thank you, everybody in the chat. All at the same time. In one voice, they all cried out. Yes, so Scientology, which is really interesting because Scientology has this machine that they use in order to measure your electromagnetic pulses and determine basically if you're good or if you're not good, which is really interesting. I used to think that was complete nonsense and ridiculous. Now I'm like, that's interesting, right? Anyway, let's go back to this picture. Minority Report. Here's what's happening in this particular scene right here. Tom Cruise, all right, is hiding from these spiders. They even call them the spiders, right? And they are electromagnetic. They're robots, whatever you want to call it. They are plasma, period. Okay? That's what they represent. And if you notice the shape, I've pointed out that shape before, right? Do you guys remember what that shape is? The Y shape or the upside down Y shape, whatever you want to see it. Anyway, so what happens is he hides in this bathtub. Okay? He's trying to trick the system. He's trying to drop off of their radar. So he hides in the water, which is also very symbolic. Now these spiders come in and they need to scan his eye. They need to shoot this light into his eye in order to take his information. Does that sound familiar? Yes, it does. Because this is what's happening. This is what's going to happen. The movies are not fake. The movies are real. That's why you like them. Right? So he has to open up his little blindfold, his little bird box blindfold that he has on right there. Do you see the connection, man? The Pixar theory is not limited to Pixar. Okay? Ted Ozzy says, the Vav. You're right. Very good. It is a Phoenician drawing of the Vav, the letter Vav, the number 6. Excuse me, I'm so sorry. Sorry about that. All right. Semyaz is in the chat and says, JayDreamerZ, too bad we couldn't get all the JayDreamers in one town to live, beneficial to use all and our existence afterwards. I read that. I did not read that right. I'm sorry. Too bad we couldn't get all the JayDreamers in one town to live. Oh, I see. You're talking about people of like minds, right? Beneficial to use all and our existence afterwards. Let me tell you something. All of the people, you will be together. After this happens, survivors, you're going to band together in pockets and you're all going to have a very similar vibration and you're going to love it. Okay? Not that it's going to be perfect to start off. Okay? It's going to head towards utopia, basically, but that's going to happen. Right now, we are scattered out. All of the truth seekers, all of those who are raising our vibrations or striving to our very best, we're spread out for a reason and for a purpose. Okay? Figure it out. Figure out what that purpose is and own it. That's my advice. Because believe me, we're going to get some time off. Okay. You're going to have a vacation. All right. Trust me. Anyway, so that's Tom Cruise letting the plasma spiders, face huggers, dream crabs, electromagnetic spiders, whatever you want to call them, look into his eye. Okay. Now, movie Memento. This is a good movie. Okay. These are all good movies, but all right. So this movie, I don't know if you've seen it. All right. But this guy right here, he's also in Time Machine. He was also in, that other movie I mentioned the other day, The Count of Monte Cristo, right? Plays a really good bad guy. He says we all need memories to remind ourselves of who we are. This entire movie is a guy wakes up in a hotel room, has no new memories whatsoever. Like every time he goes, like he'll occasionally just forget what has happened throughout his day. Okay. Now, this is not a movie. This is a fact. There are people out there with this condition. Okay. I've researched it. I've looked it up. The brain is not that. It's not something you can count on all the time. Believe it or not. All right. It's very fickle. Zen Ottman says, JayDreamerZ been saying the people with the knowledge have to be in different spaces to hold the energy. Very good. It's like seeds, right? You don't want to plant all your seeds in one spot. You need to spread them out. All right. So anyhow. Okay. So anyways, this movie's called Memento, right? It's about a guy with constant amnesia. He has to write on himself. We'll get to poltergeist in a minute. He has to write on himself. He has to give himself tattoos on his body as reminders for when he wakes up with no memory of what has happened. He has to leave himself little breadcrumbs, little notes to follow in order to figure out the bigger picture. Sound familiar? Yes, that's humanity today, okay? And that's what's going to happen to individuals tomorrow, or in the future, I should say, in Tomorrowland, right? Yes, anyway, so this is memento. They make little mementos of themselves. He can't remember anything. People who have been, who have had the plasma dock with their brain, if that brain gets rebooted or reset, right, however it works out, they will wake up with amnesia, not remember the past. Probably, not even, depending on how severe it is, they won't remember their own family members. And if I'm right in my theory that that the plasma is specifically reading people's auras and looking for people with bad energy, well, this might be a good thing, right? For them, might be a good thing. They probably didn't care about their family in the first place. So they're waking up with no memory of who am I? Where am I? What's going on? So it's a positive. It's a benefit if you look at it that way, right? Semyaza says correct. All right, let's check out some more stuff. Poltergeist, right? You can clearly see plasma fingers in the form of a hand reaching out, okay, to this little girl, this little blonde-haired girl or whatever. And they say in the movie, tell her not to look into the light. Don't go into the light. Don't look at the light. Gee whiz, like, you know, there's a reason why they keep repeating that phrase to us over and over and over again. Don't look into the light. Don't look back when you're running away from the town that's being destroyed by it, right? As Lot's wife found out the hard way. No, don't do that. Be focused. Be calm. Project love and good vibes. Try to be aware of how you're feeling and stuff like that, but don't look into the light. That's what that's all about. Tell her to stay away from the light. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, here's another good example. Okay, Lord of the Rings, right? There's this light. There's this ball light. This is more like Attack of the Killer Tomatoes. This is your ball lightning or whatever. Plasma is going to take various forms, not just giant lightning moving around in slow motion above our heads. That's one form it's going to take. It's going to take many, many forms. I wouldn't even be surprised if it literally looked in some places like ghosts that look just like you. That it looks at you and then it starts to shape itself into your shape. Okay? Just like in Ghostbusters. The original, the good one, right? Anyway, so this, I don't know if you've seen Lord of the Rings, but basically they touch this little ball of light, which is Sauron's ball, right? Remember the Eye of Sauron, the ruler, which is basically what his name means. Sir, Sauer, Sor, Caesar, Khazars, right? It's all the same word. It means basically dictator or leader, right? Well, let's see. If you break it down, it's the letter S, which is teeth, and it is the R, which is the head or top. Teeth on top, head on top, eater, things of that nature. Anyway, so this guy touches the light, right? When you look into this magical crystal light ball or whatever, these people in the movie, they become like, they become overwhelmed with this like bad vibes, basically, really bad vibes. Okay, like that's the whole thing with the ring. Like whoever was holding on to that ring, like they were tempted to just use the ring for some seriously messed up stuff, right? And I'm telling you right now, if you find yourself in this situation, excuse me, I'm so sorry. All right. If you find yourself in this situation, be very, very, very vigilant. Be very aware. Be very cautious. Okay? Not afraid, just wise. Be wise as serpents and gentle as doves, according to a popular book, right? Why am I saying this? Because it's not just like, oh, it's going to make people mad. Oh, the plasma is going to make people angry. Those people who had a bad vibe already, even if it's a tiny sliver of one, it's going to look for it. It's going to go inside and it's going to look for that sliver of negative frequency and it's going to amplify it. Okay? So that's why I'm saying you got to work on yourself now before it's too late. Okay. You don't want to become the plasma possessed if you've got bad energy. because it will amplify those people who become plasma possessed, and animals, by the way, and machines who become plasma possessed. They will be like their super soldiers. Okay, they will be like their adrenaline will be all throughout their blood. Okay, they'll just be like, I don't know. I have been that way. I have been so blindly mad. I used to be such a super angry person when I was younger. Mostly because I felt like Anakin. I felt jaded by so many people and things in life, and it got to me. And I have been that mad where you go into like a blind rage. You don't want that to happen to you. Trust me, you don't want that to happen to you where, like, I mean, it's like, if for those of you who drink alcohol, if you've ever been out partying and you black out, you're doing stuff, but you don't remember what happened. You're not even in like control of yourself. That's what this is going to be like to an extreme more degree, okay? Worse, stronger. So these people are going to be amped up. Just like, what was that movie? Dang, I forgot what it was called. There was this movie that had Nicolas Cage, and he was this amazing psychopath guy, on some other world or something like that. What was that called? I'm trying to remember the name of that movie. Help me out if you can. Well, thanks. I appreciate it. That's good. I get mad. I've been mad. I was mad today. I was mad earlier today. I really was. Which is, I see a lot of signs. I take a lot of signs from my own personal cues and stuff. That's why I like to share my path with you guys. Okay. I'm working on myself. I hope that sharing it with you will help you out. You know what I mean? So that you can relate, so that you can see myself as an extension of you, as a reflection of you, hopefully. I forgot what that name was. Anyways, not Carrie. What was it called? It was a girl's name, and it was on Amazon. But anyway, Nicolas Cage fights these demonic people who are basically plasma possessed, and they're drinking like this weird drug liquid or whatever it is, and it soups them up and it makes them like super enraged and really strong. I forgot what it was called. Anyway, who cares? All right, but you get the point, okay? Stay away from those people. Just stay away from them, okay? And maybe you could develop a test. I don't know, some sort of a test to see where they are morally. You know what I mean? Like, are they good or are they bad? Just be careful. That's all I'm saying, right? And I think you will be anyways. Oh, somebody mentioned this earlier, right? This is from Skyline. So what happens, this guy, he goes and he looks at the light, and all of a sudden, like this black stuff starts spreading across his face, and he becomes possessed. He's entranced by the light. He's entranced by it. He can't even help himself. He has to look at it, right? To those who are looking at it, it's going to be the most beautiful thing they have ever seen in their life. That's why people stare at it. Ted Ozzy's in the chat and says, JayDreamerZ, I still get that blind rage sometimes. I'm working on discipline, the only remedy. Transmute those impulses into exercise and studies. Good, man. I'm proud of you. I really am. Keep doing that. I wish you the very best in trying to let it go, because that's what we need to do. That's the energy of the world that's going to go away. Okay? It's that masculine, strong, forceful, energy, and the energy is flipping. The poles are changing, right? They're flipping around. It's going to go to a female energy pretty soon. I mean, it's going to hit neutral, then it's going to go back to a female energy. And the plasma's here to get rid of all of the prior energy. That's a part of its purpose. It's going to get rid of that. All right. Doctor Who and the Veil. Okay, so this is a very awesome episode. One of my favorite episodes of Doctor Who ever. Hey, am I talking too loud? Am I too close to the microphone? I just happened to look, and it looks like maybe I'm talking too loud. I can turn this down a little bit. I don't want it to sound all crackly. I'm going to turn it down a little bit. All right, so, nope, turn it down a little more. How about this? Is this okay? I still want to be able to talk as loud as I am right now, okay? But I don't want it to be all crackly. That just, it irks me. Okay, so how does it sound now? I turned it down a bit. I didn't turn it down too much, did I? I like it to be so that when I turn on the phone and I go over my own video, I don't have to turn the volume all the way up full blast just to hear myself. Now, see, thank you. Vanessa says it's too low. Okay, I'll turn it back up a notch. I'll turn it up a notch. How about right here? How does that sound? Is that good? Let's work it out. Let's work it out together right now. People are like, come on, damn it. Just keep going. No, but I really, the sound has to be good because we're talking about vibration. We're talking about sound. And I need to sound not crackly. Not bad. Okay, cool. All right, so thank you. But yeah, if you ever have any like suggestions, like, hey bro, your mic is too loud, or hey bro, turn the music off, or whatever, you can let me know. It's totally cool. I'll listen. All right, back to Doctor Who. So here's what's happening with Doctor Who, okay? Basically, he's inside of this maze, this island maze, all right? And he's being chased by this creature called the Veil. Now, I took a freeze frame here, or this may be from the internet, I don't remember. This is Doctor Who, and the Veil catches up to him. Now, here's what happens when the Veil catches up to him. Basically, Doctor Who dies over and over and over and over again because he's locked inside of a puzzle. And the puzzle is designed for him to grow, to become better, and to learn something, to learn a lesson, right? So every time this creature called the Veil catches up to him, it tries to kill him by sticking its little fingers around his face. It's a face hugger, which means every time Doctor Who reincarnates as himself back on that island, he doesn't remember that he's been there before. His memories are gone. His memories are wiped. So he has to leave himself a breadcrumb. He has to leave himself a clue. I'm telling you right now, there are clues galore out there that you, your higher self, have left for you to pick up. Or, well, I don't know. I say you with confidence because I know you are connected to me, and I know that that's what I'm experiencing. So that's why I can confidently say you in that particular situation. Lima Charlie, thank you very much, William. Let's see. Semyaza says, was it the movie Rage? I don't remember Rage. I don't remember that movie. No, it wasn't. That wasn't it. It was Nicolas Cage. He was just covered in blood. Like, he went out to go kill the killers. He became plasma possessed himself. It was a pretty good movie, man. It's such a crazy movie. I don't even know how to describe it. All right. Anyway, so that's Doctor Who. And we find ourselves back at the beginning. Now let's look at Amnesia. Okay, so I'm going to get rid of this particular deal right here. There we go. Now I'm going to add this one. Yay, look at me. I'm getting better. All right, sweet. So I'm not going to be able to see the chat for a little bit because I'm going to be screen sharing some of this stuff with you. Woman loses 30 years of memories after electroconvulsive therapy. A woman loses 30 years of memories. This is a real story. Let's check this out. Richland County, South Carolina. I think that's what that's for. Circuit Court. A 55-year-old woman with a history of depression underwent successful electroconvulsive therapy. Now, let me translate that into normal people language. That means they shocked her until she forgot about being depressed. I would probably forget I was depressed if somebody was shocking the heck out of me too. Okay? The doctors and lawyers and all their lawyer jargon and their maritime jargon, they like to talk like this, okay? They like to talk like this in order to make it sound like it's acceptable, okay? Not acceptable. Bad idea. After her husband and father died, 6 months later, right, she became depressed, and a new psychiatrist referred her to his partner for additional ECT treatments, which means shocking her brain, right? Shocking her brain. No, it was not Ghost Rider, Rue. But Ghost Rider is a great example, perfect example of the plasma possessed, right? They're out there fighting the bad guys, fighting the sinners, or whatever you want to call them, okay? Fighting the people with base and low vibrations. Vanessa V says, I thought it was Ghost Rider. No, but you guys are on point. Ghost Rider is definitely plasma possessed. London says, JayDreamer, sorry guys, gotta go. All right, hey, thank you so much, London. I appreciate your good vibes. Have a great rest of your day. Let's read the rest of this here. The partner administered outpatient ECT at a hospital daily for 10 days. Okay, let's translate that into normal people talk. That means they shocked the crap out of her brain for 10 days straight. Right? The referring psychiatrist wrote in the patient's chart that the patient experienced memory loss. Right? Experienced memory loss. I love how they talk, man. It's just the most ridiculous thing I've ever seen. And severe cognitive problems. Jesus, man, like it doesn't stop. Basically, this means her brain stopped working, right? It stopped working the way it should during the initial ECT regimen, which means, wow, go figure. While they're shocking the crap out of her brain, it stopped working the right way, okay? But did not report this development to his partner and allegedly encouraged the patient to continue, which means they went, this is probably bad. Let's not tell on ourselves and let's keep doing it. That's what that means. After the second round of shocking the crap out of her brain treatments, the patient suffered brain damage and lost all of her memories from the past 30 years. Check that out, including the births of her children and her job skills, leaving her unable to work. So this is coming from a court case, okay? In case you couldn't tell by the language, all right? It's not English. It's not any language that you know. I'll promise you, okay? Some of you do. Some of you can speak this, but I don't really speak it, but I recognize it and I know how to translate it. Semyaza says, JayDreamerZ, I know a league of extraordinary gentlemen. Dr. Jekyll drinks a potion to activate my hide. Yeah, that's a good one. I really like that movie too. Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. Mr. Hyde's the monster inside. You see what I'm saying? There is a Mr. Hyde inside. You need to kill him. Okay? There is I wrote this song. How did that lyric go? I wrote this one lyric. It says let me try to remember this particular lyric, okay? Just bear with me for a second. But it goes goodbye, my love. It was never meant for us. As I walk away from you, I don't want to leave you. I don't want to leave you, but I'm sorry. Goodbye, my love. Oh, anyways, and then it goes, let's see. Damn it, I can't remember right now. 1 second. It's there. It's on the tip of my tongue. Let's see. It goes. Forget it. Just forget it. Okay, I'll remember another time. I promise. But anyways, it was about like the Loch Ness monster locked inside of me, and somebody needs to hire a locksmith. Something along those lines. Okay, I forgot. But yeah, there is that energy. Okay, if you have it, rectify it, remedy it, get rid of it. Recognize it, admit it, talk to yourself about it, and look for opportunities to rid yourself of any type of base vibration. Light some incense, meditate, sing, do things for other people, whatever you have to do to change it, because if you don't, the plasma will latch onto it and amplify it, I promise. All right, so let's continue reading this crazy court case. We're not going to read all of it. In court, the patient claimed that shocking the heck out of her brain should be administered no more than 3 times a week, and the referring psychiatrist should. So basically, she's saying they didn't shock the heck out of my brain the right way. Basically, right? Yes, the case was settled for $18,000. Right? Corey L is like, what? $18,000 for 30 years of memories? No. Forget that, right? F that. Forget that. So yeah, that's one thing. But the reason I show you this is because this is a reality. It is not difficult for us to lose our memories. It's not difficult at all. As a matter of fact, let's see. Let me just check my notes here real quick. Here's some notes I have. Lightning strikes cause amnesia. And by the way, typically only about 10% of people who are hit by lightning actually die from it, right? And sometimes lightning and people who have been hit by lightning, in some rare cases, has been known to actually, while it hinders some abilities, it amplifies other abilities and unlocks hidden parts of the brain, giving people certain powers or, abilities and things like that, right? Traumatic events cause amnesia. Well, I can't think of a more traumatic event than the sun turning off in the middle of the day, gravity disappearing and everything floating, the biggest storm ever swirling around the world, the sky opening up, plasma coming down, monsters appearing out of nowhere that may be infected, may or may not be infected with a disfiguring virus that will live inside of a human body and then burst out of it one day. Plasma-possessed psychopaths running around. This is a pretty traumatic event. So, yeah, I could definitely say there's probably going to be some amnesia involved, right? Loss of oxygen also causes amnesia. Oxygen is going to get sucked up. Not all of it, so yet, you won't be able to breathe as good or as well, okay? But yes, so you're not going to just suffocate to death. I know some people have left me, asked me that, like, bro, how's anybody going to survive if there's no oxygen? It's going to all get sucked up. So it's like breathing, sticking your head out of a car window, right? Facing the opposite direction and trying to breathe. It's hard to because you're in a vacuum, basically. But you can do it. Sean Wheeler, wait a minute. One sec, Sean. Vanessa says, Godzilla King of the Monsters was also a good one, I think. Yes, and I actually broke that one down, too. A few times. Sean Wheeler says, JayDreamerZ, my buddy's wife got hit twice by lightning. The odds are off the charts. I agree. You know what? I stay the heck away from lightning. I do. I'm not afraid of it, but I know, like, up here, my energy is connected to the energy that's out there. So, I don't go near. I don't walk the dog when there's like a storm on the horizon. I don't do it. I stay away from the lightning because it's something inside of me says, like, I'm attracted to that. It's not like I'm bad and I think it's just going to kill me, but it's like I feel a connection to lightning. I really do. Such a strong connection that I've been able to call lightning. Like when there's a lightning storm, I've been able to point at a particular place and say, watch right there, lightning's about to hit. And boom, sure enough, it sure does. I've done that like many times. All right, so let's check this out. Forget Me Not, History, 17 Most Bizarre Amnesia Cases. We're not going to read all of them. I'm just going to pick some. I've already read through this. Amnesia is a popular plot device in movies and television, but real-life instances of memory loss are arguably more bizarre than anything seen on the screen. This is all real, okay? When you go to the movies and they're talking about people losing their memories and stuff like that, it's not stuff they just make up because it makes an interesting story. It is real stories that they share with people, and people like it and love it because they're like, that makes sense. That's real. Like, that resonates with me. From Agatha Christie's 11-Day Memory Lapse, which, by the way, Doctor Who did an excellent little show on, to patient HM, who forgot events, as soon as they occurred, to a woman who collected memories as if they were being experienced by someone else. Here's a look at history's most bizarre amnesia cases. Hey, Stephanie, what's up? Says, JayDreamerZ just got Netflix email about a show called The Island. I actually just saw the preview for that. I will be watching it. Wiped clean of memories and thrown together, a group of strangers fight to survive harsh realities and the island that traps them. I didn't know that their memories were wiped, but man, that's just, when I hear stuff like that, I'm just like, I don't even know. I don't have words. I'm speechless. I'm dead serious, man. Like, it gives me goosebumps. Like, good goosebumps. Anyway, all right, let's check this guy's out. Let's see. One of the best known patients in the history of neuroscience. Let me make this bigger. Oh, I can't read that. I have to change the font. Epicap just subscribed. Welcome, Epicap. All right, let's see here. Can you guys see that better? One of the best known patients in the history of neuroscience, Henry Molaison, patient HM as he was called, suffered from severe memory impairment following experimental neurosurgery performed to control his epileptic seizures, according to a study. In 1953, when patient HM was 27 years old, boom, there's 27 again. There's a reason it's popping up in this live stream more than once, by the way. When he was 27 years old, he underwent surgery that led him forgetting daily events nearly as fast as they occurred, right? Our memory is not some stronghold. You don't have just some hard drive in your head and you can remember everything ever. No, I'm sorry. Let's be real. Let's admit it to ourselves, okay? What happened on 9/11? Oh, I remember everything. I was there. I remember blah, blah, blah. What happened 2 days later? Yeah, exactly. Memory's not as good as we like to believe it is, okay? So it's a precious thing. It's a valuable thing. I, for one, would like to hold on to mine. So I enjoy learning from my experiences. So this guy basically started forgetting things as fast as they occurred. Now, some of this you might remember from 50 First Dates, right? They took a lot of these real stories and put them into that movie. But a lot of people didn't know that. A lot of people are just like, oh, it's just a great love story. It's symbolic of whatever. Nope, it's real. All these movies are real. All right, let's see here. So basically, they ended up studying this guy, seeing what was going on. Agatha Christie, let's read about this. Writer Agatha Christie captivated readers with her novels about detectives hunting for clues to solve mind-bending mysteries. But Christie became the subject of a real-life mystery in 1926 when she disappeared for 11 days and then discovered 200 miles from where her abandoned car had been found. Christie claimed to have no recollection of where she had been or what had happened during that 11-day period. If you want to know what happened, you could probably just go watch Doctor Who. I mean, because they did a whole show on it. Let's see. After Christie was located and identified by her then husband, Archibald, right? He said in a newspaper interview, she has suffered from the most complete memory loss, and I do not think she knows who she is. She does not even know me. And she does not know where she is. I'm hoping that rest and quiet will restore her. Her husband she didn't know who her husband was. Okay? This might actually happen. People are going to have to look through the rubble that falls back down to this world. Steampunk survivors, right? 1 second. Sorry, I'm having like nasal issues right now. I don't want to share. People will look for clues to their own lives. Okay? There was a movie. I was trying to find out which one it was, but there was a movie I started to watch. I never ended up finishing it. But at the beginning of this movie, there were these astronauts in space. And when they came out of their, like, whatever it was, sleep deprivation or sleep, whatever, how like they put astronauts into like deep sleep so they can live longer and travel farther or whatever. Well, when these astronauts woke up, these guys had amnesia and they had put pictures of their own family members with them to remind themselves like, hey, don't forget, this is your family, right? I know a lot of us like to think, like, oh, I could never forget my daughter. I could never forget my son. I could never forget my mom or my dad. Yes, you can. Given the right conditions, yes, you absolutely can. So let's be wise, right? Let's look into this stuff. Let's figure out why this happens. Let's figure out what we can do to protect our memories, to lengthen our lifespans, to make life better for ourselves instead of just blindly walking around hoping it's never going to happen because you just don't think it will, right? Memory is a fickle and sensitive thing. Agatha Christie could not remember her own husband. And he probably left her after that. I don't know. Ansel Bourne. You see that movie, The Bourne Ultimatum, right? Well, that's what this is about. Matt Damon's popular film character, Jason Bourne, a skilled assassin. Okay, so think about that, right? Somebody that got zapped, plasma possessed, docked with their brain rebooted, has amnesia, and all of a sudden he's a killer. A killer on the road, okay? Shares his name with another amnesiac, a 19th century man named Ansel Bourne. In March of 1887, Bourne, an evangelical preacher from Rhode Island, woke up in Pennsylvania. I like that word. Pennsylvania. I should break that word down sometime. I think I have before. And couldn't remember how he got there, nor could he remember any of the events of the past several months, according to the Historical Society of Pennsylvania, right? Now, I also want to point this out. This is also technology, okay? So I'm not saying this, all these instances is all plasma and whatever. No. There are mechanics involved. And for those certain groups out there who understand the mechanics and can replicate it on a small scale, MIB, right? They can absolutely do weird things to your body that you don't even understand because you don't believe your body is mechanical and electronic in nature. They can do that. You see those, you ever listen to those stories about aliens, right? And aliens show up and all of a sudden people are like, and they're just frozen. That's because they have technology to freeze you. It's not difficult when you know how to do it. They have technology to make you forget stuff. They have technology to screw with your vibration to make you mad. I promise. Okay? They can just shoot out a signal and it'll tempt every little atom in your body to become irritated, irritable, upset, angry, frustrated, whatever it may be. And I'm telling you right now, if you start to feel that, that's a red flag. Get away from wherever you are. Get away. Go take a shower. Go take a bath, just like Tom Cruise tried to do, right? Like how we saw. Do something to protect yourself, okay? But probably the easiest thing is to go somewhere else. Unplug everything in your house. If you're in your house, unplug all that stuff. If you start feeling that way, be careful. Be very careful. Be finely tuned into your emotions. Be finely tuned into your feelings about things. Search your feelings. Like as they say in Star Wars. Mother Dragon says, JayDreamerZ, memory loss is just the inability to consciously recall memories. They are still there on a subconscious level and cannot be deleted. Well, they sure can be uploaded, right? They sure can be read by other people, that's for sure. But yeah, I totally agree with you. They're all still there. I like to call that spirit memory. That's the memory, that's the information that's contained within the plasma or spirit, right? And I'm not too sure that ever goes away. All right, let's see what else here. W-O, let's see, what is this one? Oh, some guy got a root canal. You see this? After getting a root canal, all of a sudden he had amnesia. And they said there was nothing wrong with his brain, right? He just got this root canal. His hippocampus was undamaged. That's a portion of the brain. Initially diagnosed with psychogenic amnesia. That just means like it runs in his family. Memory loss following psychological trauma. Oh, okay, I was totally wrong. All right, so I take that back. Memory loss following psychological trauma. This is something that many of you know because many of you like to follow, those other channels out there that are very into the Illuminati and into the scandals and all that type of stuff, right? Well, we know that there are groups of people out there that know how to flay the mind or split the mind or develop alters in the mind, subsections of personalities and things of that nature. And they do it through psychological trauma. They don't have to. There's other ways to do it, but this is the way they have chosen, psychological trauma. There was no trauma immediately preceding his first amnesiac episode. Researchers reported a study published. Okay, blah, 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 blah. All right, let's read the next person. Hey, check it out. It's Harrison Ford. Well, I don't know if you guys remember this. He basically crashed an airplane, right? The pilot of the Millennium Falcon crashed an airplane into a golf course and couldn't remember the next 5 days. Basically, because it was a traumatic event, right? Or he says he couldn't, I don't know. Who knows? But that's the story. Says he can't remember the last 5 days, can't remember crashing. And this constantly happens as well. The brain will basically shut off if it feels like it's about to die. It doesn't want to experience death. Like if you jump out of an airplane and your chute doesn't open, before you hit the ground, the body's going to turn off, okay? You're not even going to feel the thing, right? Just go limp. Just like they said in that other movie we broke down. All right, let's see here. What else? Retrograde amnesia. So there's different kinds of amnesia. There's the kind of amnesia that you don't remember the past. That's retrograde amnesia, whatever happened before that event. And then there's other amnesia, like you can't develop new memories, right? There's different kinds of amnesia, basically. Let's see here. Yeah, this guy's memory only lasted a few seconds. So he's like that guy in 50 First Dates that like you say hi to him and like 5 seconds later he's like, hi, and he tries to introduce himself again. That's just like that. So they made a movie about it, etc., etc., etc. Right? I'm trying to, I like that movie. Anyway, let's see, a French guy. Oh, this is an interesting story. A French man was found in Lyon railway station in 1918 and was unable to remember who he was and did not recognize his surroundings or recall how he got there. He was one of a group of 65 severely traumatized soldiers who had been returned to France by German officials, but he had no paperwork to confirm his identity. According to an account of the unfortunate man in Jean-Yves Lenaur's book, The Living Unknown Soldier, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so that was all written in a book. He was shuttled between asylums, and when hospital administrators shared his picture in newspapers in 1922, 300 families proposed that he was their missing relative. Now that I think about this, okay, I don't know why, but when it said asylum, it triggered a memory in my head. I remembered the movie 12 Monkeys. It's about the same type of stuff, okay? All this time travel deal, okay, it's not time travel. I don't think it is, okay? It could be, but that's not where I am right now. Right now, the Faraday cages, the time traveling, all that stuff is surviving the apocalypse, basically, okay? You're either going from one condition here in this house, in this dark city where we live, to a new condition, from one age to a new age, or you're time traveling from one realm or reality to a parallel reality when you go through that vortex in the sky. And then all of a sudden, like, times have changed or whatever. But anyhow, something else that's associated with time travel, right, is memory loss, just like in 12 Monkeys, right? Which, I don't know if you guys have seen that, but I was telling Bruce Willis the whole movie, like, snap out of it, bro. Like, try to remember some stuff, man. Like, because he was out of it, dude. Anyway. So anyhow, yeah, that guy, he lost his. Patient RB. Let's see here. Suffered a stroke, experienced amnesia, prevented him from forming new memories, and kept him from recalling memories from up to 2 years prior to him falling ill. Okay? This guy right here, he used to play in the NFL. Got amnesia, couldn't even remember it. Didn't even know he was a football player or any of that stuff. Naomi Jacobs, I woke up in the future. Time travel, right? Okay, I woke up in the future. Let me read this one. I'll jump in the chat in just a second. Oh, thanks, Rue. That was really nice. At the age of 32, single mother Naomi Jacobs woke up one morning in 2008 having forgotten nearly 2 decades, all the details of her life since 1992, and believing herself to be 15 years old. This is not a movie, okay? Or it is a movie. Everything's a movie, basically. Her own home was completely unfamiliar to her, and she did not recognize her 10-year-old son, though she could still recall phone numbers and she could still drive a car. I think this type of amnesia is like related to personal experience versus things that you learn or facts that you acquire or whatever, right? Jacobs had kept meticulous diaries over the years, and she used them to piece together the details of her forgotten life. Exactly how I said, right? People are going to wake up into the new age with a brand new character, not knowing how they should be or how they should act or what their interests are, or, do I like oranges or do I like spaghetti? Or actually, now that I just thought about that, Alita Battle Angel, the movie, right? Same thing. Alita is that robot. I don't know if you've seen it, but basically she wakes up in this junkyard because it's going to be a junkyard world, right? Wakes up in this junkyard, or she's found in a junkyard, and then she's taken to this laboratory. And anyways, the doctor revives her. She wakes up, doesn't know who she is, can't remember her likes and her dislikes. This is the same never-ending story that we are a part of. You're a part of something so much bigger. Oh, man, it's exciting. All right, anyway. I think that's good. We don't have to read the whole thing. That's not bad. Let me get this off the screen real quick. There we go. Okay, so that's enough about that. I would like to open up the chat a little bit. Does anybody out there have any questions or comments for me? If you do, just type in @JayDreamerZ. I always like to do this before I wrap things up because I want to make sure I gave everybody an opportunity to talk. I'm looking that way because, like, I move this thing around on my screen. I have a big old screen here, and I move it around. So if I make it small, watch this. If I make it small, and I put the little box of myself right under where the camera is, it looks like I'm looking directly at you guys, which is where I like it to be because I like to look at the camera as often as I can. The eyes are the window to the soul, right? So I like to look at the camera as often as I can. But I find myself getting distracted by all this other stuff that's on my screen. So I try really hard to come right back to you guys, to look right at the camera as often as I can. Hey, I really appreciate it, Rue. That was a really kind thing to say. That was really nice. And it makes me feel good, man. Because I struggle with this. I struggle all the time. Am I a good person? You know, I come down hard on myself sometimes. I don't know if you guys can relate. But, you know, although I try to think of all the good things and stuff, like I also have the bad things in there. And I'm like, I don't know, man. But ultimately, here's what it boils down to. I always come back and say, what's the point? Either one, get rid of yourself. Or two, and I'm talking to myself, by the way. I can't do this. I got to make it smaller. Okay, there we go. There we go. Perfect. So either this is the conversation I have with myself. Sometimes I'll get depressed, okay? Totally admit it. I get depressed and I'm like, man, you know, I remember all these bad things or all these things I said or all these opportunities or wasted whatever in my life, etc. And I come down hard on myself. And then I tell myself, all right, pal, what are you going to do about it? All right? Either find the door, right? I'm being careful about how I talk right now, but either find the door or let it go. Change. Go out there. Make good memories. Go out there and change your vibes. Go out there and make it all brand new. You can't go back in time, buddy. You can't do that. But what you can do is whatever's happening right now, and you can start collecting all of that experience, brand new experiences, brand new vibrations. Start collecting them up and change. You know, those are the only two options I have, period. I know it got real dark and weird for a second there. Sorry. I like to just share my life, man. I like to just tell you guys what I'm going through, things I think about, etc. Right? Anyway, let's see here. Logan Cook is in the chat and says, "Have you heard of exploding head syndrome?" No, I have not heard of that. What is that? Stephanie McGuire says, "JayDreamerZ, bad people don't wonder." Wow. Hey, I like that. That's a good little motto. What's a motto? I don't know. What's a motto to you? The Rickest Rick says, "JayDreamerZ, I can relate big time. No worries." I used to rock my hat just like that when I was younger. That's funny. You remind me of me. I can relate big time. No worries. Hey, good, man. I'm glad you can. I'm really glad you can. I hope you can see myself as an extension of you, bro. You know what I mean? That's why I do what I do. I hope that those of you out there can glean from whatever I'm saying and find whatever is resonating and say, hey, I'm going to add that to my life. That's going to help me out. I hope it does. Let's see here. Somebody said something about 12 Monkeys. Britt, new member in the chat. Britt with the cat, says, "JayDreamerZ, do you think the New York City subway would be a safe place to go during the plasma?" Well, first of all, I don't like to say there are any safe places, only a safe state of being. So that's first and foremost, okay? So all in here, all vibration, all the time. That's number one on my list. But as far as safe places, I like to think in terms of safer. But I'm going to be honest. There's a part of me that thinks this is all predetermined. Like everyone has a purpose. Every one of you out there has a purpose and has a path. And I don't even know if you need to dodge. I don't even know if you need to weave. I don't even know if you need to go to some other place or whatnot. That's the thought I have all the time. I feel compelled to be right here where I am, physically in this location. I feel like this is my destiny. I'm just going to put it out there. But New York City, well, let's think about that. It is an electromagnetic storm that's about to hit, and you're going to be in the subway. I don't have a good feeling about that one. I don't know. If I would recommend, right? Who was that? Oh, Britt. Hey, Britt, I recommend if that's something that's a thought in your head, research it. Check it out. And then let me know what you found, because I love hearing what you guys have found out after you've done your digging, right? So Britt, I hope to hear back from you. What did you find out about New York City subways, right? Positives and negatives. I would love to hear about that. Logan Cook says, JayDreamerZ, it's hearing strange sounds right before bed or while sleeping, like electricity or lightning. Many examples out there. I hear that all the time. I can hear it right now. We tend to drown it out with louder sounds, like my own voice right now, but I can hear it. It's a high-pitched ringing in my ears. And the only time it's ever gone away is when I went up to Wyoming and when my power went out here at the house. So, yeah, I can relate to that one. Let's see here. The Rickest Rick says, that picture is like 7 years old when I was in college. I don't know if you guys remember, when I first started doing YouTube, I had this cheesy picture of me when I was like 20 years old. When I took that picture when I was in the Marine Corps, like I had my hat, it was all on sideways. I was trying to look cool and everything. I still wear a backwards hat. I'm pretty sure the hat's not going to last forever. Or it will be replaced with tinfoil. I'll probably just go full nerd, full on conspiracy. Who knows? I don't know. Let's see here. Oh, okay, cool. Good. That's good, man. Vanessa V says, JayDreamerZ, don't mean to be the only one to complain, but the original volume was perfect. I hear you okay, but heard you better before. Oh, okay. So are you saying turn it up? Your wish is my command. I turned it up. Boom. So how does that sound? I just turned it up, literally. Let me know. I love feedback. Well, no, I should be careful about what I say, right? I love getting feedback on like how my channel's working as far as audio and visual and stuff. Mother Dragon says, memory loss is just the inability to consciously recall memories. I think I already see that one. Sorry, the chat's all gigantic for some reason on my side, so I'm missing some things here. Yeah, let me know if this sounds better, because I'm pretty close to the microphone and I'm being pretty loud, which I like. I like it to be loud. I want it to sound like a radio. You know what I mean? Like how you hear people on the radio. I don't have a radio voice, okay? I don't have like, good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Love Jams 99.2, or I don't talk like that, okay? And many people have told me I sound like Matthew Broderick or something like that. Great. That's fine with me, whatever. Samyaza says, JayDreamerZ, watching you is an understanding to change your vibes and wake up. Love more, hate less, one day at a time. Thanks, Jay. You're welcome, man. I'm telling you right now, one of the hardest things for me has just been like, I know these temptations. I know these tests of my patience, these tests of my frustration, things that they come out and they happen when I'm not ready. Darn them for doing that. They happen when I'm not ready. They catch me off guard. So what's the remedy to that? I have to be on guard. I have to be Asgard. I'm sorry, I had to say that. Simyaza says, JayDreamerZ, you got aluminum foil under that hat yet? No, I don't yet. But I'm strongly considering it. I'm telling you that right now. I am strongly considering that. Possibly. I have to look into the mechanics of that, right? I have to learn a little bit more about Faraday cages and how they work, because I think that's an important part of all of this. And I'm pretty sure that it's possible. I don't actually want to have tinfoil exposed, because obviously it's a conductor of electricity, right? I am learning a lot about electricity and how electricity works and what's a conductor and what's not a conductor and what repels plasma and what's magnetic and what's not. You know what I mean? I'm learning a lot about that stuff. So if I do have a hat, honestly, it would probably be covered in rubber with tinfoil on the inside, or you know what I mean? I want extra protection, but I don't want the plasma to say, oh, tinfoil, bzzz, right? Even though it might go around my brain and throughout the rest of my body, right? I want to make sure I do it the right way. I'm not just going to throw on some tinfoil with a big point on top and ask the plasma, invite it into my face. No, I'm not going to do that. But I would be open to having like a rubber hat that has tinfoil, like, you know, on the inside or something like that. You know what I mean? Because the rubber will repel electricity, right? It's not a conductor. Rue, you're so nice. Hey, by the way, I read your comment. I did read your comment. I hope you got my response to your little comment in the community section. You broke my heart for a quick second. I was so sad for a moment. I wanted to give you a big hug. But in a good way. Other people are like, what's he talking about? Anyway. Let's see. Those EMF hats are like $60. So expensive. But where do you get an EMF hat? Rick? Let me know. Hook us up. Help us out. A rubber suit lined with foil. Yes. Okay. Man, you guys crack me up. And make me feel very good, too. Make me feel so good. Let's do an emoji tidal wave. Let's do that. That's always fun. Who doesn't like to play with emojis? Come on, let's throw some emojis. Here's what I like to do. I want to make a request, if I can, if I may be so bold. I would like everyone to put an emoji sandwich, okay? On one side, an emoji. In the middle, a word, a positive word, or a word of encouragement, or something inspirational. And then on the other side, finish it off with another emoji. Let's do that. I'll start things off, right? I'm going to start things off. Oh, I actually had something up there. I welcomed Will DeCoster in the chat earlier. I forgot to post it. Sorry about that. Good vibes. Boom. All right. Something simple. I just started off right there. Emoji flood. Emoji tidal wave. Let it rip. I'm talking about positive messages. These are spells that people are going to read. You're spelling out something that's going to go into my eyeballs, my mind, and it's going to affect my energy. Help me out. Help each other out. Help yourself out. Let's blow up the chat with good vibes and good emojis. And I think it's a good time to go ahead. As we blow up the chat with good emojis, I'm going to sign off. I'll see you guys next week on Monday when we do our Truth and Movie Mondays. If you're a part of the Truth and Movie fan club tier or whatever I made, where you can vote or nominate movies, I'm going to do that. I'll probably pick the movie tomorrow. Robin Yo just subscribed. Welcome, Robin Yo. It's good to meet you. All right. I'm JayDreamerZ saying good vibes and goodbye. Thanks for watching.